Have you ever asked an AI to write something for you, and what you get back is just kind of meh? It's repetitive, it's a little shallow, and it's definitely missing that spark of a real idea. Well, today we're diving into a really cool new framework that's trying to fix exactly that. It's all about teaching AI to think a little more like we do. And to kick things off, let's look at a perfect example of the problem.
Just look at this. Seriously. This is a real output from a major AI model. What do you notice? It's saying the exact same thing, over and over again, just slightly rephrased. AlphaFold is developed by DeepMind. Yep, got it. It's this kind of robotic repetition that's so frustrating, and it's the very thing that researchers are now trying to solve.
So that brings us to our first section, the repetitive robot writer. The big question here is, why does this even happen? What is going on inside these models that makes them sound so uninspired?
Well, it boils down to something researchers call fast thinking versus slow thinking. Right now, AIs are absolute masters of fast thinking. They grab some info and immediately spit out text. It's fast, but it leads to that shallow, repetitive stuff we just saw. We humans, on the other hand, we use slow thinking. We gather information, sure, but then we pause. We reflect on it, connect the dots, and that's how we end up with writing that has real depth and nuance.
Digging a little deeper, this problem is really twofold. Researchers have pinpointed two specific roadblocks for AI. First, there's the knowledge-information boundary. This just means the AI has a hard time finding a wide enough range of information. But the second one is, I think, even more interesting. It's the knowledge-cognition boundary. This is where, even if the AI has great info, it just doesn't know how to organize it or, well, think about it to create something new.
All right, so if that's the problem, what's the solution? That brings us to section 2, thinking slowly, writing better. It's all about mimicking that human process, that ability to take a step back, which is the secret ingredient to quality writing.
There's actually a term for this in cognitive science. It's called reflective practice, and it's something we do all the time without even realizing it. It's not just about collecting facts. It's about mulling them over, reorganizing them in our heads, throwing out the useless bits, and constantly refining our understanding. That reflection, that's the engine for creating something truly original, not just a list of repeated facts. And this process probably looks super familiar to you. Think about the last time you had to write a big paper. You gather your info, right? Then you step away, you make an outline, you reorganize your notes. Out of that mess, you start synthesizing actual insights. And only then, once you have that deep, structured understanding, do you actually start writing. Which leads us to the big question. If we know this is how people write well, can we teach an AI to do the same thing? And that's where we get to meet OmniThink. It's basically a major upgrade for the AI's writing process. So what is OmniThink? Simply put, it's a framework designed to force an AI to copy our human slow thinking method. It makes the AI go through that whole cycle of gathering information and then reflecting on it over and over before it's allowed to write a single sentence. Now, this didn't just appear out of thin air. You can see here how it builds on earlier frameworks. Models like Storm and CoStorm were already playing with ideas like structured memory, but OmniThink is the first to really nail that final crucial piece of the puzzle, true reflective thinking. It's a pretty big leap forward. Okay, reflective thinking sounds fantastic, but what does that even mean for an AI? How do you program reflection? Let's pop the hood and take a look inside the AI's brain to see how this works. OmniThink has two really clever core parts. The first is called the information tree. The best way to think about this is like the AI's personal, super organized research notebook. As it finds new facts, it doesn't just toss them in a pile. It builds a branching tree, kind of like a mind map, connecting main ideas to smaller details. It's building a structured map of everything it's learning. The second part is the conceptual pool, and this is where the magic really happens. This isn't just a list of facts from the tree. This is the AI's actual evolving understanding of the topic. It's a high-level summary of the core insights and connections it has pieced together. You could almost call it the AI's own perspective. And here's the key. These two parts are in a constant feedback loop. First, the AI does expansion, where it goes out and adds new branches and leaves to its information tree. Then it does reflection, where it pauses to look at the whole tree and updates its conceptual pool with a deeper understanding. And it just keeps repeating that cycle. Expand, reflect, getting smarter and more nuanced with every loop. All right, so the theory sounds amazing, but the real question is, does it actually work? Does all this reflection lead to better writing? Well, the researchers needed a way to prove it. And that meant coming up with a whole new way to grade AI writing.
So they created this brilliant metric called knowledge density, or KD for short. Think of it as a no-fluff score. It doesn't care how long an article is. It measures how much unique, meaningful information is packed into that text. It's a fantastic way to spot the difference between an article that's just repeating itself and one that's full of actual substance. And when you look at the results, wow, the proof is right there in the pudding. This chart shows the knowledge density scores for different AIs. And you can see OmniThink just blows the others out of the water. It achieves a quantifiably higher score. This isn't just a feeling, it's hard data, showing that its articles have more substance and way less of that useless filler. It's not just writing differently, it's writing smarter.
So what does this all mean? Well, this is way more than just a small tweak. This shift from fast, reactive writing to slow, reflective thinking could have huge implications for the future of AI.
So let's just quickly recap the big takeaways. First, OmniThink successfully mimics our human slow thinking process to get way better results. Second, we now have a great new tool, knowledge density, to actually measure the quality of AI writing. And, maybe most exciting, this opens the door for AI that can generate genuinely insightful, well-researched long-form content, the kind you'd actually want to read.
And that leaves us with a pretty mind-bending question to think about. We've always considered deep reflection to be a uniquely human ability. But if we can teach an AI to genuinely reflect, to synthesize new ideas, and to deepen its own understanding, what does that mean for the future of knowledge, of insight, and maybe even of creativity itself? It's a big question, and we're only just starting to see the answers. Thanks for watching.